comes to our homeless population, families with kids are one of the fastest growing groups. That's according to the latest federal data. Fox 12 investigates the causes of this trend and the resources that are available for those who are struggling. Fox 12 investigative reporter Adrian Thomas joins us now with the story. Adrian.
Yeah, Shauna, recent federal data shows that families with children are one of the fastest growing groups of people experiencing homelessness in the country. It's the largest single-year increase of any group. In recent years, data showed that trend is even greater in Oregon alone, and experts say there aren't enough shelters and programs for families to meet the growing demand. Jason Green is the assistant director of Portland State University's Homeless Research Action and Collaborative. This department has recently completed its second tri-county point-in-time count. Green's group helps direct volunteers, counting everyone experiencing homelessness in Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas counties. The count is a federally mandated program by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD. Green says as the homeless crisis in Oregon worsens, the impact on families stands out.
We have a critical lack of affordable and available housing units. And as housing prices go up, as rent goes up, we're seeing more and more families and youth who are being pushed into homelessness as a result of that.
Green says rent-burdened families, or families that have 30% or more of their income going to cost of living, are especially at risk. Another factor, Green says, are different assistance programs that no longer exist.
I think what we're seeing is the end of all of this pandemic-era support that was going to families, that was going to prevent and address homelessness. You know, a lot of this federal aid has expired.
And with that aid stopping, the numbers of impacted families have increased dramatically in Oregon since the COVID-19 pandemic. According to point-in-time count data compiled by HUD, the number of people in families experiencing homelessness in Oregon increased over 124% from 2021 through 2023, going from 1,734 people in 2021 to 3,900 by 2023. Brandy Tuck is the director of Path Home, one of the few family-oriented homeless shelters in Multnomah County.
In Multnomah County, there's only 3 family shelters that serve homeless families with children, but that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of need there. Oregon ranks first in the nation for the number of unsheltered homeless families with children.
Tuck says the need for families is great, and that Path Home serves up to 600 families per year through their shelter space and rent assistance programs to prevent families from being evicted.
The majority of the families that we serve do work. They're employed even while they're here in shelter. They just make such little money that they can't make ends meet. The other thing that we see is when kids are very small, when they're under 5 and they experience homelessness, that's an adverse childhood experience, which results in lifelong adverse health outcomes. Things like heart disease and COPD and lung disease.
For Jason Green and his team of researchers, they say that sadly, these trends will continue until the massive housing shortage in Oregon catches up with demand.
Right now in the state of Oregon, we estimate that roughly 100,000 housing units are needed across the state right now, and about 50,000 of those for households that are experiencing homelessness, some kind of homelessness, whether doubled up or in a shelter or unsheltered.
And with that, Jason Green adds that when the results of the 2025 point-in-time count are released, he feels there will be yet another increase in families experiencing homelessness. According to a recent report from Green's team, the 2023 and 2024 school year in Oregon saw the highest rate of K-12 students experiencing homelessness in over a decade. We'll take a deeper look at this trend in an upcoming story.
Boy, it's just such a sad reality for so many families. And frankly, watching this, it seems like homeless families are really at the bottom of the priority list. I mean, does the budget tend to line up with that?
Yeah, the Joint Office of Homeless Services in Multnomah County, which, you know, is arguably one of the largest local bodies that confronts homelessness in the state, has an annual budget for this current fiscal year of $395 million. And, you know, we looked at the breakdown of all the different programs, and programs specifically for families, whether that be rent assistance, shelters, other types of eviction prevention or programs, only make up about 6% of that budget. So a lot of advocates, you know, we talked to for this story said that they're pushing for more investment in, family-specific programs. The budget speaks for itself, though.
Boy, it's hard to believe. Yeah, I mean, that's really the county commissioners make that call. So,
absolutely, yeah. Any type of changes in spending or new investments in programs, I mean, that would come from the Board of County Commissioners, whether to increase spending.
Yeah, well, keep us posted, Adrian. Really good story there. Great to shine a light on that. All right. Well